For sure. So, how many of you have heard of Saint Francis of Assisi? Almost everybody, yeah? And the thing about Saint Francis of Assisi, I did quite a bit of studying on him historically, as well as spiritually, and he was quite an amazing soul. He had a part of his life that was very, very private, where he went very, very deep and studied meditation, which was not considered cool or normal at that time. At that time, the monks and the saints, you would not necessarily see them meditating. Interestingly enough, this particular saint did. And he would meditate for hours and hours. And the thing about Saint Francis is very interesting. You see these different statues of him, and it's kind of funny. A really sweet gift that somebody gave us of St. Francis back there, but he looks like a linebacker. You know, so somebody's interpretation of St. Francis was big and strong, and that's good, that's fine. But really in our backyard, I think we have the true St. Francis, which is, he's very, 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 very small. He's about 4'9". Did you know that? Very short. We'd be like this. 4'9", 5 feet tall. He was so rail thin because he gave his food away to everybody else and asked God to feed him. So in the yogic tradition, which I think he was very much a yogi in his soul, in the yogic tradition, that would be called being a breatharian. So he was literally living on the breath of God. He was living on being sustained by the love of God, knowing that whatever he needed and whatever was necessary, God would provide it. And so much is unknown about him in the masses, very, very little. But I will share with you what the little that I know is that he was quite a lover of God, a lover of love. He was not interested in doing things the way everyone else was doing. In fact, he and Mother Teresa are the only two saints in the Catholic Church that actually started their own parish away from the Mother Catholic Church in Rome. So, although it was in Rome at the time, St. Francis went and got permission to build his little church in Assisi that stands there today. And up at Ananda Village, there is an exact replica up at the Hermitage that when I take everybody up for retreats, wasn't that place, those of you that went, was it beautiful? You've seen the Hermitage. It's exactly to spec. It's exactly the size that he built, that St. Francis built. And a very interesting thing about St. Francis that, so what's some words that all of us would go, oh, St. Francis, we think what?
Animals.
Animals. Why?
Because they loved him.
How do you know?
Because.
Well, we were told, right? Well, the truth is that everything he did was being recorded. And I'm going to do a whole series on this soon, about a 3-week series, where the man that went on to be a very important priest literally was journaling everything St. Francis did. And it's called Portrait of a Master. It's written by James Twyman. It's not exactly factual, but it's pulled from the facts. You know what I mean? Like certain films are. And the thing about St. Francis is he had so much compassion, so much love for people, that his heart was so pure with Divine Mother that when he would stand, in the summertime, Assisi is covered in red tulips. Can you imagine? Seas, and maybe some of you have seen it, seas and seas of red tulips. Just imagine that right now. Close your eyes and imagine an endless sea of red tulips. Can you imagine how beautiful? Gorgeous, right? And he would stand there amongst the tulips and he would say, Brother Sun, as you shine on me, I am in such grace. Thank you, thank you. Brother Sun. And then he'd say, Sister Moon, you have risen to give me sleep. And then he would turn around, Brother Sun, Sister Moon, and he would connect to everything as an extended part of who he is connected to God. So, one of the things that, he died very young, I think he was 42, I believe, 42, 44 years old. That's pretty young, isn't it? He died from a disease of the eyes. You know why? He cried all the time. He wept. Everywhere he went, he wept. He wept for injustice. He wept for unkindness. He wept when people were greedy. He wept when people were just not giving joy and love to anyone they came in contact with. And it truly hurt him deeply. So he would cry and cry and cry, so much so that he developed a serious eye disease that got so infected that it actually took his life. Isn't that interesting? And the thing about that is, the reason the thing about the animals, what they recorded at that time is when they buried Saint, or actually put him in the fancy relics and stuff that they put him in, but when they first buried him, animals, particularly birds, came out of nowhere and just landed where he was buried and stayed there for days and days and days. Deer came there. Any animals that were local to that region would come and just sleep and stay. This is a fact, you guys. Because he had such unconditional love. He truly loved any sentient being, any living life he saw as God's gift, God's beauty being extended upon us. And so when he wrote this prayer from the depths of his soul. How many of you have felt like you are on your knees in the depth of your soul in your life? Really? Some of you never been there? I kind of don't believe it. I don't think you can have a life and not have an experience that brings you so raw that we finally give up our stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Poor behaviors. We finally stop blaming, stop shaming, stop accusing, stop being passive-aggressive. You know, passive-aggressive is an epidemic right now. Do you know what it means? I bet a bunch of you are thinking right now of yourself or people you know that get passive-aggressive. 1 minute, they're your best friend and everything's fine, and the minute that they feel scared or frightened or unclear about you, then they turn around and they become extremely aggressive. Pick fights, gossip, create problems. Passive-aggressive. So this passive-aggressive behavior is actually going in the opposite way of where we want to be going. Where do we want to be going? Passive, for sure, for sure. What kind of behaviors are we longing to have as a natural response to things? Like when things are going really, really bad.
Loving kindness.
Joy, loving kindness. What else?
Compassion.
Compassion. For who?
Everyone.
Starting with
Ourselves.
ourselves. We have not been taught this.
No.
We have not been, and maybe some of you haven't, but I have not been taught ever to go into myself and say, what a beautiful self, what a beautiful woman God created, what a kind, loving person I am. I wasn't taught to do that. People would think I was weird if I did that, right? But the thing is, that's when we bypass that kind of internal love, it's because of our egos. Who here has an ego? Yeah, every hand, right? You know what ego means, don't you? Edging God where? Out.
Wow.
And ego can be a very dangerous and a very destructive thing, can't it? Haven't we all had those experiences where we let our egos really cause some problems? Yeah, and we don't hate our egos. We simply, they're our body, they represent who we are. There's a bunch of good stuff about our egos. The problem is the ego thinks it is always right. That's the problem, is the ego says my way is the right way and your way is the wrong way because I, the ego, say so. And then your little ego goes, now, wait a minute, my way is the right way and your way is the wrong way. And what starts happening? Conflict. And isn't there enough conflict?
So how do you tell which one to listen to?
What do you mean?
Which one's... Sometimes I get confused if I don't know if I'm hearing ego or if I'm hearing spirit.
That's a great question. Anybody want to throw something at that one?
I think when it's spirit, it's not yelling at you. Like it's a very subtle You have to be able to hear it.
Peace comes in peace.
So, yeah, so what Dean just said is, which I thought was a perfect answer, one of many, is that when it's spirit, it's soft. It does not yell or hit us over the head. We do that, right? What's another way? There's many answers to this question. It what? When it's spirit, it feels good. Define good. Content. That would be one way to know, is it would be content. What else?
Serves others.
It's, oh, yes. That's why I loved your question. Is it serves others. That whatever we do so in the desire to bring goodness and joy to others. The master teacher said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, and all thy will. And I want to talk about the will for a minute. The will, when he said will, what do you think? I'll get back to you. What do you think he meant? Love the Lord thy God. Lord means law. The law of good. God is good. Love the Lord thy God, the law of good, with all thy heart. That's easy, right? We get that. All thy soul, giving our whole self. All thy mind, thinking on the right side. And all our, I should say will. All our will. Just so you know, for all those of us that are east-west, the third chakra represents will. It is yellow in color, and it was designed to use the power of our will to push us up to the heart. And guess what we did with the will? I'll fight you with one hand tied behind my back. I'll fight you with two hands behind my back. I'll fight you with one leg. That's ego at its best, yeah? And that's the will, using it to get revved up, to get that anger, to get that upset going on. We use our will to do that. But all the great master teachers, and there are many, talk about that will was given to us for one purpose only, to move ourselves upward in lovingness and to speak beautiful things and to share beautiful things. And that was the only purpose for it. But we used it to create war. We used it to create being right. We used it to create armies of being right. So when we think about our will, and we think about this great teacher, St. Francis, and how young he really was when he left the planet. You think he made an impact on the world in that short period of time? Isn't it interesting how some of the greatest life-changing master teachers in all time, they don't last very long? Why is that? I don't know the answer, quite frankly. I have some guesses. I think they've served their purpose, and they're going back to recreate themselves in God in some way, back to God in some way, where they're not working so hard with us. So I wanted to share this with you. This is something that myself and my wife, this is our testament to what we do, everything that we do. And it's kind of where is that chair? I wanted to have a conversation with you guys. Thank you, Adam. If you could just put that chair right here on the ground for me. I love you, thank you. I decided a couple days ago, we come in here, thank you. We come in here and the point is to get in here. Did you feel joy this morning?
Oh, yeah.
Did not the kids enlighten you? They're just so beautiful in their perfection and their innocence. And, that's why we're so devoted to, our kids' department is the most important thing, but without mother, how can we take care of our kids, right? So the mothership here, which is quite a ship, is here mostly to support our children, our seniors, our families who are struggling. It's here to bring joy to the masses, to celebrate life, to bring new ways of thinking, to help us all feel happier and more loving. But sometimes, and you guys know I refer to life as Earth School. Earth School, for me, makes a lot more sense because we know it's not heaven here. You get that, right? This is not heaven. If it was heaven, this would be a very different experience, wouldn't it? Everything would be beautiful all the time, 24/7. We would just look at each other and have lullabies. You know, think of a peach and let it drool. So, sometimes, in seminary school, and I'm not just talking about the seminary school I went to, I'm talking about the seminary schools that many of my friends that are priests or cantors or rabbis or Episcopalian leaders or Baptist ministers. I have a lot of friends. I used to sit with a lot of different spiritual leaders, and it was called Coffee Talk. And we were on local channel, and we would have these discussions about why religion is so compartmentalized, and isn't the point what's in between that is the universal truths is more important, and they all agreed. Everybody agreed. And what was interesting about that coffee talk was many of them were quite taken with our emphasis on compassion and kindness. And all of them, when the cameras were off and we were just sitting around talking, they were all trained, everybody was trained to never let their congregation see them sweat. Never show a weakness to a congregation. It was like a big time rule. Do not let people know that you are flawed and that you have issues and that you have problems, because they said if you do that, then the people will not come. They are coming to be lifted and to look at you as a model and to try to reach you up here. And that's how you're supposed to be a reverend and a minister, is to put out a sense of perfection and love. Now, that's fine. That's fine. However, how much can we really get from that? If all we hear from a spiritual teacher is how perfect I am, then what starts to happen? What's going on? Unobtainable goals?
Discouragement.
Pedestal? What else? Separation. I have something you don't, and believe me, I respect them all. I'm just sharing with you, this is just me, my beliefs, and what I was told, is to get up there and put on my robe and be in this place of holiness. Great. However, maybe thousands by now of people that I've been able to help, I did not help them by doing that. I helped them by showing all my flaws. So here is a disclaimer and a warning for you all. I am about to share my flaws. So if you need to run out the door, please, I will not judge you for it. It's an interesting time in life. How many people are going through, either have a family member or yourself going through a very, very difficult health issue? Seriously difficult health issue. How many are going through potentially terminal health issues? Terminal. Yeah. So, what do we do now? Now, here we are. We've been thinking about, it's joy and it's good and God loves us and we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing, and I'm praying and I'm meditating and I'm changing my behavior and I'm being more loving and I'm giving more and I'm doing everything I can to just get it right. And then we get something in our school. We get a class that shows up that says I have to take it in order to graduate life. And it's a class that I've been trying to avoid my whole life, and now I got to take it. And it's called Heal Something That's Almost Impossible to Heal. Now what? Now what do we do? How do we keep our faith? How do we not blame God for that? Or how about, which is not in my case, I just got married. I've got the greatest relationship in the universe, but some people out there don't. And there was a time when I didn't. But how about when we're in a relationship and we're so sure that this is the relationship, we're so sure, and then one of the two does something that can no longer continue the relationship. It's no one's fault, no one to blame. But the relationship just doesn't work. And we're like, well, wait a minute. I went to the therapy. I read the 50 billion books. I watched Oprah. I did everything I could. I prayed. What happened? What do we do? What do we do when we do everything we think we can right and that stuff keeps happening? How do we not lose our faith? What do you think? I know this is serious. You're not used to me being this serious. But you know what? It's an important day because I've been called and told it's time to share with you guys. And you know, it's kind of interesting to me. It's a small, intimate group. It's good. Because I want to be real with you. What happens? How do you keep your faith, you guys?
Get on our knees.
Huh?
Get on our knees.
Get on our knees, and let's say we stay on our knees like Marianne Williamson told me to do. I said, how am I supposed to work on my knees? She said, I'm not answering that. How do we do it? Because it's a metaphor, right? Staying on our knees, pray, 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 pray. We pray without ceasing. Okay, we're praying without ceasing. Things still aren't getting better. How do we keep our faith? How do we keep our hope? How do we not give up? We accept the things we cannot change. Ding, 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 ding. It's the only way I can do it. My name is Dr. Kim, and I cannot function any other way than in the present moment. I just want to be fully addicted to that. Living in the present moment. So, I was recently diagnosed with something that's quite serious. And I'm going to have to go through some really awful stuff. And I'm not looking forward to it at all. I don't want to. Anybody have to do something for a while, like 6 months, that you didn't want to do? That was difficult. That's frightening. That comes with it something I do not understand. Very, very fearful. Now, I'm not going to die, God willing. No, but it's that one step before there, that things go well, and knowing me, I'll beat it and get right back on my feet after a certain point. But how do I not lose my faith? Here I am, Reverend Karen and I have given our home, our inheritance, our life. We could be here for 6 events in a row, and we're the ones that are here every single time, while others come and go and can't and will. We're here. Why? Why bother? Why should we? Come on.
Because the tide keeps coming in.
Because the tide comes in and it goes out. And when we're in the present moment, like right this moment, everything's okay. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Right this second. For everybody. Really. Isn't everything okay right this second?
Yep.
Yes.
Do I hear a yes?
Yes.
So if everything's okay right this second, and then, okay, it's a new second. How are we doing? Is everything okay?
Yes.
Oh, but a few seconds went by. Okay, and now, how's everything doing now? And now? Is it okay?
Yes.
That's how I'm doing it. Because I can't do it any other way. It's overwhelming. And you know, it'd be one thing if it was just me. But unfortunately, my partner also has something that is very, 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 very difficult. And so it's not like one of us can take care of the other. We have both of us. And so wouldn't it be easy to get mad at God?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be easy to blame? But we got to keep our faith. So Adam, I'd love you to play a little music right now for me. Just you, please. So this prayer for me is a prayer that I will be doing without ceasing. And it will, there's a beautiful song that Adam's going to sing later about it. But it certainly is something that will help you stay in the present moment. And it will help you to really, no matter how, like the money goes away. We spent our last dollar making this gorgeous garden to bring people up to. We've been living in our home for 10 years. We get a letter in the mail, the landlord says, we're moving back in. You've got 8 weeks to find a place to live. While we're not feeling well. And I could go on. There's more and more, and yet I can't quit. I can't give up because that's too easy, and that's what too many people do. And once we give up, we just have to go through it all over again. You all know that, don't you?
Yeah.
That which we do not make peace with has to come back up because we must learn it. What's the point of being here if we're not going to be more like God?
And you can't quit till the miracle occurs.
Can't quit before the miracle arrives. So say that after me. I will not
I will not
quit before the miracle arrives.
before the miracle.
I will not
I will not
quit
quit
before the miracle arrives.
before the miracle arrives.
Yeah. Lord, Lord, Lord. It means law, the law. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Yes, even when I am so sick that I'm throwing up in between sets. Even when I can't understand how we're going to afford to make this massive move and there's $200 in the bank. How is that going to happen? How am I going to deal with this UC Davis thing for 6 months and run a growing academy? How am I going to get my beloved on her feet so that she feels better? How am I going to negotiate a new move in a new place while I'm going through a form of chemo?
I got a truck.
Got a truck. I thought you said, I got drunk. Or that, except I can't.
I don't.
I can't have anything like that. So it's a very serious liver disease. So I can use water. That's about it for me. So make me an instrument of your peace. Who is your? Who is your? Everything that created everything and called it good. Yeah? Where there is hatred, out there, because it's never in here, but where there is hatred, let me sow love. Even though my guts are killing me and my head is pounding and I don't feel like talking to anyone, I am still going to love you and shine my love upon you, even when I don't feel like it. Where there is injury, where someone has done something that many would say is betrayal and terrible, I will simply pardon them. Because you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've done some of these mistakes. So I will release them and wish them joy in this holy instant. How about where there is doubt? Do we doubt? Do you ever doubt? Come on, get honest.
Yes.
If you doubt, I highly, highly recommend you get in class, you get in seminar, you stay around here on Sundays and become a master of faith. Or you go to your church or the church of your choice where you actually are learning to maintain faith and nothing less. Where there is despair, what will happen if there is no hope? There must be. Because in this moment, right now, I have hope. And in the darkness, all we need is a little light. Even a matchstick will do it and bring us back to our enlightened self. And when I am so sad, I can barely function. I have to find something that brings me joy. This place, you, coming here on Sunday, my band, my people around here that hold me up and walk beside me. The importance of keeping this place going because it's purely love. It brings me joy. And you know, Divine Master, grant that I may not seek so much to be consoled as to console. Even though I'm sick and I've got a migraine headache and I can't really see straight and my ankles are this big and my heart is not working correctly, I will stop and sit down and talk to you. And I will tell you I love you. And I will tell you it will be all right. And I will help you in the best way that I can. I don't need to be understood by you. I want to be better at understanding you. That's what this seminar next weekend is all about. Is becoming a master of understanding others rather than our silly egos thinking it knows. And of course, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving. You know, we get so, oh my God, I don't have enough to pay the bills. How am I going to give this to someone else? It's the complete opposite. When we give with joy, God gives in abundance. But when we grip it and hold it, God says, okay, you hold on to that. And of course, it's in the pardoning that we are pardoning. And it's the dying to ourselves. It's letting go of all my fears and struggles and saying, God, teach me. Give me a sign. Show me the way, because I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do this. I've never known how to do it. I never knew how to be a mother or a father. I never knew how to be anything. And I learned it all from Divine Mother, all from nature, all from the love of others. So if you are having any pain in your life, give it to me. Give it to me. Because you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to give it to God. That's who should be handling the pain. And I hope you'll join me in this and recognize that when life serves us lemons, bust out the sugar. Bust out the sugar. Be in the moment. And for God's sake, don't look back. That's not going to help. And if you're looking forward, you're making it all up. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're making it up. God laughs. We plan, God laughs. Yeah? So in my world, I wake up every day and say, I don't know what I'm doing, God. I have an idea. But please direct my every move, my every word, my every thought, my every emotion. And help me do better today than I did yesterday. Thank you very much. Thank you. I love you. I love you all so much. And this is not just a place to come and go, yeah, we do that too. But more importantly, it's about healing. Thank you.
And this is our